Welcome to the Be Rare Podcast. We're outgrowing, giving ourselves grace, giving ourselves gratitude, because this healing shit is not for the motherfucking week. Look what I got. To my right.
What's
right?
up, girl?
Yeah. To my right. Introduce yourself. Big boss. Don't play with her.
You know.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I kind of got caught in the moment. Oh my goodness. Who am I introducing myself to the world? To the camera?
She's my friend.
This is my girl. I'm here with my girl.
We've been locked in for how long?
Well, we just had our 10-year reunion since graduation.
Yeah.
So you add a couple more onto that. I was like, 13, 14 years.
Decades.
We up there.
Don't play with her. Don't play with us.
I'm Sierra. I am one of Raven's closest friends. I'm from Kansas City as well. I went to Mizzou for undergrad. I went to USC for grad school, and I'm now the proud CEO and founder of a company called Rebundle, where we make braiding hair out of plants.
That's big, y'all. Who ever thinks of making some braiding hair out of plants?
Yeah, it is pretty wild.
That's wild. And I'm her friend. Okay, we're gonna play a game, y'all. And then we're gonna get into the episode. Game time. Who's most likely to be a total flirt?
You.
Me.
You for sure.
I'm a flirt. I don't
Who's
flirt with just anybody though. But if I'm flirting,
if you flirting, you flirting.
I'm flirting. That's me. What you got?
All right. Who's most likely to, it doesn't make sense. Who's most likely to be a little bitch?
Be a little bitch. I feel like we both can.
I'm about to say we tied.
You play with it in our face.
Nah, we about to go at it.
Yeah. But we nice, but you get to acting crazy. We can show you something.
Twin them. Come on.
Would I ain't even gonna say this part. Would go out if they didn't have to get up.
Would go out?
If they didn't have to get up. I feel like we'll both go out if we didn't have to get up.
Yeah.
And we ain't had nothing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what function it is. We ain't just going out for the hell of it, but
yeah.
Why
Still, both of us.
If it's lit.
If it's lit. I mean, shoot, 2 weekends ago, you said you weren't coming. Then you like, who all there?
Yeah, but then I came because somebody called me, but they didn't appreciate it. But we're not going to speak on that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Which one of us is more likely to have a dark side?
A dark side? Like what? What do you think they mean by that?
Like, I don't know, like maybe rage or like blackout, like get to tripping. I'm gonna say you. The only reason I'm not saying me is because I be fully conscious when I'm
gonna say maybe old me because I get to tripping. But now
growth. Look at you on the podcast.
Now if I'm tripping and I do something, I apologize. Old me, I'm standing on that and it is what it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, Raven.
Yeah, I'm on all that. And who said ooh? But now I'm like, that wasn't right, Raven. That wasn't right. Should be in prison. Who should be?
Nobody.
Oh,
too cute for jail.
Okay, hello, ain't no count time around here.
Too
I gotta
cute
go
for
to
jail.
bed. I probably end up with some. I don't know. I ain't gonna discriminate, but I probably would have ended up with somebody in prison because I used to hold it down.
Used to. Still not gonna be in jail yourself though. Okay. Wakes up with half a burrito in bed.
If I'm drunk,
you. I'm gonna do my nighttime routine no matter what.
Nah. If I'm drunk and I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat that burrito and then put it right there.
Slide it on over. That's all you.
Yeah, that's me. Would be super uncomfortable in a strip club. I feel like
good time.
Hey.
Neither. Is allergic to everything.
I don't got no allergies. You got allergies?
Let me give it to myself because I have random allergies. I don't always know
What
what
you
I'm
like
reacting
allergic
to.
to? Pollen?
I don't know. I have had a couple of allergic reactions, and I still don't know what
Where it's
caused
coming
them.
from?
Yeah, some type of food allergy, likely, but
They be saying that when you
don't
get
know.
older, you start getting allergies.
Yeah,
That's
I
what-
didn't have allergies as a kid,
Yeah, me neither.
but I
I still
definitely do
don't.
now.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I had last one. Most likely to go to hell.
Go to
Go
hell.
straight to
No,
hell.
we ain't going to hell.
I serve an all-time God.
Hello. I might go to, if you go to, what did I say in my last episode? If you go to low, I might go to hell with you. But I'm going to get the fuck about it. I'm not staying. Okay, let's get into the episode. I don't even know what the title of this episode is going to be. We're going to just figure it out as we go. All right, so I had text you. When did I text you? I'm looking.
Couple weeks ago.
Yep, and I was like, hey, friend, I've been scared to ask you to be on the podcast. Will you come on the podcast? And you was like, girl, what you scared for?
And that I said it out like, what's this girl scared for? Talking about she's scared. What?
But I think it's because I was asking myself, like, why am I? And I was like, you was like, why are you scared? I'm like, we're going to talk about it on the podcast. But we was just kind of talking about it on the couch a little bit. I feel like I'm just, like, even with me cussing and stuff like that, like, I'm like, I don't know if they're really allowing my friend Brand, and I don't want it to, like, you know, bring no conflict or nothing.
I feel it.
And then that was something that I had got a lot, but I cussed a lot when I first started podcasts, but I don't cuss as much no more, but my slogan is, but it's like, but it's crazy because before I got here, I seen the girl, she owned Slutty Vegan.
Yeah.
And she had a book in Target, like some. It was like bitch vegan or something like that. And I'm like, it made me realize like she's being her, and she is excelling at it. Like I be being me, but it still be a part of me in the back of my head. Like, am I doing too much? Should I stop this? Should I stop that? You know, like overthinking it.
Self-doubt. Well, you know what you just described. Well, first of all, I really like Pinky Cole and the brand that she's built. I think what makes Slutty Vegan so amazing and remarkable is the food is cool. I've had some before, but really it's the brand, like the name itself. Pinky Cole, her name is Pinky Cole, and like that authenticity is throughout the entire brand, and she doesn't shy away from that. She's actually gotten a lot of not necessarily backlash, but like there are consequences to her maintaining the authenticity of her brand too. But like the benefits outweigh the cons. So I think that that was the last reason I would have expected you to say you were scared to ask. Because I mean, we friends. You see how I manage my own social media, shits and giggles. That's all that's on my page. But I think for Rebundle and the brand that we've built, it is loosely based on me and who I am. But for the most part, like I believe in authenticity all the way around. And a lot of podcasts and stuff that I've been on, like if I'm a cuss, like, you know, that's also just who I am. So
yeah, I'm grown. That's why I be able to tell myself,
grown,
like, I'm grown as a motherfucker. But yeah, that's why, because I'm like, I don't want a conflict. I don't want to, you know. But it's like, I was happy that you did say yeah. I figured
I would have never said no.
I figured you was going to say yeah, but it was just, I have a problem. We was just talking about that, though, like, people be like, oh, you so, like, you getting out here, you doing your podcast, you ain't scared of nothing. I'm really the most scariest person because I don't want to make the wrong move, but I feel like you're the opposite. Like,
I mean, I get scared too,
but you still do it.
I still do it. Do it.
But I'm learning you got to practice that muscle. Like,
you know what a friend told me a couple years ago? Her whole thing, and I confide in her, like, you know, this stuff is scaring me. I'm not sure if I'm making the right decision. She always just be like, do it scared. And that resonated with me for a long time. Like, I'm going to do it anyway, whether I'm scared or not. But like, sometimes you just got to remind yourself that do it scared.
Because what I'm going to stay in the same place?
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
I ask myself that all the time. What is the worst that could happen? And then the worst might happen, and I'll be like, was that the worst that could happen?
Is that the worst?
It could be worse.
It's always something worse.
It could be worse.
Let's talk about the business then. So how did you come up with Rebundle? I don't even know that story. How did you come up with Rebundle?
Okay, so I remember when Raylan was born because I was still living in Charlotte, and
she didn't been everywhere.
I have been everywhere, but that ain't the point. You had just had Raylan, and I was living in Charlotte in my townhouse, and I'd already quit my job. So we probably never even had time to talk about it because
I remember you was working in Charlotte. What was you doing?
at first I was working at a HBCU at Johnson C. Smith, and then I quit that to go work at this fintech company. But I was only there for 3 months.
It was a startup company, right?
Yeah, because I wanted to work on Rebundle full time. But basically, the backstory is in that time that I was living there, I was growing my hair out from a fade, wearing braids all the time, just going to any salon in the area that would do my hair, and was just like fed up with the itchiness from the plastic hair. Had time on my hands, had questions, and was trying to live a more sustainable lifestyle. Is something I was learning more about, and so I just kind of brought those worlds together. I found them interesting, and I had more questions than I had answers about how plastic hair is made, where it's made, what it's made out of, who owns things along the supply chain, the value chain. I just thought it was an interesting project to work on, and I was inspired by the potential and like how it could not only just serve myself, but all the other Black women I knew and Black women that I didn't know, but understood the braiders, the people who wear it, where it's sold, etc. Like I just found it super interesting and wanted to dedicate my time and life to that. So by the time you had Raylan, I was jobless.
I remember we had talked right before I probably had her, but I had kind of went MIA when I was, but I remember we did talk.
I probably had told you I either have quit or I'm about to quit because I quit like end of February. So Raylan was April.
Was telling me you was about to quit and I think you was telling me about to start work for the startup. And then I didn't hear nothing after that. But then you just came out with Rebundle. I'm like, okay. But what was I about to say? You said something about the Rebundle stuff. What was you saying? You said, I feel like you always done good research. Like, how did you, because did you outsource and have somebody do the research for you? Or like, how did you do such good research? Because I feel like I suck at researching.
I mean, I think it depends on how you define research. Up until 2021, middle of 2021, a lot of stuff that went into Rebundle was done in-house. And that's just like, you don't have resources to outsource everything. So even something like the research, that looked like spending time on Google, on YouTube, in WhatsApp, messaging people if I get a connect. I think it's more about like the skill of research is really about being resourceful and know where to look for information and to ask the right questions to keep getting to the next person that can better help you get the answer that you're looking for. So in 2019, 2020, 2021, even to this day, if there is a question that I have, then I'm determined to sort of get that answer. And I'm pretty good at navigating different networks and groups to help me find the right resources and answers. The answer might not be available online. For example, if I have questions about product development, why is the product performing in this way? If I want it to perform this way, what type of technical expertise would I need for that? Oh, okay. I ask somebody, you might need a biochemist. I'm like, okay, well, let me go look for a biochemist. Do you know any? I know someone who is a chemist. They might know someone. Make me an intro. Hey, I'm doing this. I'm trying to get in touch with a biochemist that has a background in fiber, material science, etc. So I think that is also an element of research, is just knowing what questions to ask and not being afraid to ask those questions to get the answer that you ultimately need.
Yeah. That what I heard from that was like, it's not always what you know, but who you know.
Combination.
Yeah.
Combination of
both.
Yeah. You need a little bit of both. And primarily you have to be unafraid to ask for help.
I be asking for help, but I don't be winning. But no, that's good because I really want to start treating, like, I feel like I started a podcast at a time where I was really like kind of low in my life, and I feel like, I don't know, I just I always had some shit to say.
And that's okay.
And so I just picked up the phone and I started doing Anchor, but I feel like at first it started us off as a hobby. And so I'm trying to turn this into a business. Like, I no longer want this to be a hobby, but I know I also have beliefs that I have to get over. Like, even like you believe that Rebundle is gonna go far, right?
I mean, I either wake up every day and choose to believe that.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I wouldn't want to keep doing it.
Yeah. But is that something that you feel like was instilled in you? Or like you always had that belief or had that mindset like whatever I do, I'm gonna be good at it?
No, I wouldn't say so. 'Cause there are other projects and ideas that I've had that I wasn't as inspired to keep going. I think that there's two things that make people more have more of an entrepreneurial mindset than others. One is being really persistent and really diligent and like determined to do something. Like, you are more inspired by the unknowns and the ambiguity than what's predictable and already readily available. I think that's just something innate to a lot of entrepreneurs. It's like very curious, very hungry, and like always in search of something. So that's one, and I do think that's always been instilled in me and just who I am as a person. And then on the other side, like, you have to be motivated and inspired by whatever you're working on and whatever you're building. And if you believe in it enough, then you will continue to choose that work, choose that project because you believe in it. You're passionate about it. Passion cannot be fabricated or thought up. Like, it is truly an internal driver that if you don't feel passionate about something enough, then it's really hard to convince yourself to like commit to it. So I think when it comes to like choosing to commit your career, and you also think about like this is a portion of your career.
Yeah.
I'm 28. I mean, I want Rebundle to be successful. Do I want to work on it for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big commitment. I mean, damn, I'm only 28.
So let me just get it where it needs to go, get a good foundation.
You also got to think about like, this is who I am right now. This is what I'm doing right now. And I'm committed to this and I want to see it through to the end and shit, see what happens.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Do you think passion is like what keep people going? Because I feel like you said, you had started a lot of other businesses and you didn't really, like, they kind of gone where they go. And I feel like same thing happened with me. I think, what did I do? Like body shaping. I was selling purses. I was trying to do everything, but it's like Be Rare is like something that always brings me back to it. That's how I really think it is passions. And that's, like you said, it helps you get past that fear. Well, I still be scared, but it's like, shit, I love it too much to not even keep doing
scared.
it.
You just gotta do it scared.
I'm gonna do it scared because I say I'm working on affirmations so I can change those beliefs within myself because I struggle there. And I'll be like, I'll be scared to say I'm having #1 podcast. My podcast is going to be #1.
Period.
And my friend, she gonna be distributing Rebundle everywhere. Everywhere.
Catch me at, your neighborhood Ulta, your neighborhood Sephora, Sally's,
Hello. She gonna have Rebundle everywhere. I can see you having I be feeling like a person made it when they got a billboard in New York Times. I can see you having how
I'm gonna get there?
How?
There are certain companies, like credit card companies, that work close with startups that will basically like give billboard space to companies. Yep. That's how I'm gonna get there. I ain't gonna pay for it myself.
That's smart, girl. Use them connections. Use somebody else's money, because I can imagine how much it costs to be on the New York Times. So when you figure out that credit card company,
I mean, Brex, Mercury, those are the two cards. You open a credit card account with one of them. There are certain criteria you got to meet for like those types of opportunities, but that's how I've seen other startups like get the opportunity to have a billboard in Times Square or somewhere in New York, is usually through these credit card companies that I don't know how they do it, but
I'm pretty sure their business be booming after they see it on the New York Times. So many people walk through there and everything.
You'd be surprised. I've learned a lot about site conversions and audience building. It takes a lot of repetition to convince somebody to sell. And the conversion rate is typically not as high as you would think for a lot of marketing initiatives, which is, I didn't even know anything about marketing before I started building Rebundle. And there's still a lot that I am learning. But you'd be surprised how much it costs to convert a customer, and like the most important thing to remember when you're early stage or before you're like you've really made it is you have to convert that customer as cheaply as possible, which is spending little to no money.
That's what people say. You got to do a lot of free stuff too.
A lot of free stuff.
Did you read it? Did you learn that through a book? Like right now, I'm reading a book. It's called Jab Jab Punch. I started it. I need to finish it, but I'm reading a book right now called Jab Jab Punch, and it's by Gary Vee. You know that marketing.
I do know Gary Vee.
Yeah, he was talking about how you gotta hit a couple jabs. You gotta jab them time before you do the right hook and ask for a sale.
Yeah, that's that's an interesting analogy. Yeah,
yeah, so it's true. It makes sense because I will scroll through TikTok and I see somebody one time. I'm like, oh, okay, she cool. And if I see her again, I'm like, okay, I like her. But then that third or fourth time, I'm like, let me follow her. But I don't follow them the first time.
That's a lot. That's how a lot of it works. For another example would be like if somebody comes across Rebundle's page for the first time and we've piqued their interest, like, oh, plant-based hair, that's interesting. They might not follow. Maybe they just found us by someone else reposting onto their story. Mm-hmm. And then they see it again somewhere else. Maybe they see it while scrolling on Twitter and they're like, I'm going to follow them this time. Then they start seeing our content and then they make it onto the email list.
You gotcha.
That's the right hook.
Sponsor time. What we talk about being rare. This is a rare company called Rebundle that create healthy extensions out of plants and is owned by a Black woman, Sierra May. Woo woo! We love the Black women that are disrupting the industry. Their mission is to create basically a healthy type of extension where you get a better experience. So you're not having all those chemicals and all that in your hair. Like you get to get your hair braided and now your hair is getting braided with good quality hair. It's not gonna break out. It's not gonna have your hair all itchy and stuff. It's gonna be good, and you can get it in different colors. Look at all them colors. Yes, variety. We love variety, and then it also tells you with each style how many bundles you need. So if you need small backs of braids, baby, you probably need 5. You got a little just feed into the back, maybe just 2 or 3. But all the information that you need here is on the website. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out on their chat, and they will be happy to answer any questions. Go shop Rebundle. Bye.
You gotta get them on the email list. Get them on the email list.
Yeah. I'm trying to work on that, like a website and email list. But yeah, so did you learn like the marketing stuff by reading books or research or what was it?
Combination.
Mm-hmm.
Combination.
Do you read a lot?
I do read a lot.
But is it more business books or is it a mixture?
It's got to be a mix. If I read too much of one, then I'll kind of burn out on them, and it's hard to grasp.
Yeah, because them business books sometimes I'll be like, get to the point. This is boring.
A lot of them are dense, but
you learn a lot from them when you do actually sit down and read them.
I'm not the type, and I've never been this way to like take notes while I'm reading, but I do like to read it and then digest it, and then like hopefully some of those lessons will come back when I need them. That's my approach. I mean, different strokes.
I'm not a note taker here because usually I'm just reading where I'm at. You know, like I ain't got no notepad and stuff like that, but I do be wanting to remember it and use it as a tool.
Yeah.
But let's go into the next thing. So we already talked about struggling with believing in yourself, with me believing in myself, and just like do it scared. Do you feel like because sometimes I feel like mine is kind of ancestral, like my beliefs. Like I feel like I come from a whole line of like 9-to-5ers, like hardcore 9-to-5ers, like 30 years at the job, retired with Social Security. Did you have people in your family that you seen was entrepreneurs, or you the one breaking the generational curse?
Before I knew, yes, I did have examples, but not in the ways that I would have immediately recognized that they were entrepreneurial or pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors, because I actually didn't learn that term until I got to college. I don't think I'd ever heard that before. And
entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I didn't know it was something you could study. I didn't know that it was a career. I think what often happens with particularly black entrepreneurs is that we are seen as just like, business owners, small business owners, but that title entrepreneur was not a common terminology. So I didn't know that it was I didn't know that that's what I was seeing, nor that's what I was doing until I got to school and I was like, oh, there's a word for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my mom has always had several jobs. She's a hustler. That's where I get it from. My aunt, my grandma's sister, had a restaurant or a bakery. I can't remember which when I was little, and I do remember that. And then my grandma, now, she's like 85. She got the coldest business out of all of us. During the holidays, she cleaned chitlins, $25 a bucket.
Everybody want their chitlins clean. I'm gonna have to
She don't cook them. She just clean them, $25 a bucket. And I was like, that's what's up.
Hey, she got that Christmas
That's her
money
holiday
on
money.
deck.
That's her holiday money.
Yeah,
and she's been doing that for
everybody.
the last couple years. So, I think it has always been around me and probably around all of us, but I did not recognize that that's what it was until I got to school and learned more about like what types of entrepreneurs there are, what type of businesses there are, and the type of business I eventually wanted to start.
Yeah. I feel like when we got to college, that's when the entrepreneur stuff kind of like booming on the internet. Like.
Yeah, I would say so. I think there was a lot of there are now like, tons of brands and a lot of content, a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily know was in our face as much like in high school, but definitely in college.
A lot of pressure, if you ask me. They be putting so much. It's a lot of pressure. What was I was about to ask something about the content. When it comes to content, I don't know. It'll come back to me. Any advice? Oh, like any advice to the 9-to-5ers? Like I feel like everybody always want to jump into entrepreneurship because it looks like glitz and glam, And a lot of times we don't see the stages where you getting it from the you getting it from the it's from the bottom, like
from the bottom.
A lot of people don't see that. Like a lot of times I just see people just jump off the porch and I'm like, oh, okay, I like her, like, and she probably did have to hustle to get to where she was, but I didn't know her then. So it looked like it's an overnight thing. So like, do you have any advice for 9-to-5ers just trying to get into entrepreneurship and think it's about to be overnight?
Yeah, that's just a lie. I didn't think that people still like believe that as much as people do, but it is still a misconception that entrepreneurship is easier or more liberating. You'll have all this free time and you'll make all this money. It's just lies. Like sometimes I don't necessarily deter anybody from what they want to do, but I do like to help people think through what they're giving up if they are talking about, pursuing something. One, you do got to be passionate enough to see it through because shit's going to be hard. Nothing is going to go as you planned. Not even just like half the time. Like nothing is really going to go as you planned or as you envisioned. But I think that for me, I hope that people don't see me as an overnight success because I still don't feel that I am a success story. I think I'm still writing that story and there's still a lot to be built and a lot to be told. But you also got to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? And if the answer is nothing, then you better keep your health care, your 401k, your PTO. Keep that shit because you may not have it ever again, or it may take you a while to have those benefits again. When I first quit my job, I didn't really have a plan. I knew that I didn't want to work there anymore, and I had to convince. I'm a grown ass woman, but I had to convince my mom and my sister, like, this is what I'm gonna do, and they're like, why are you gonna do that? That don't make no sense. We keep jobs, and I'm like, y'all keep jobs.
It's just like I'm breaking this up
out of here. I can't because I wasn't happy with where I was. I really liked my bosses at the time, but I dreaded going to work. I'm just like, I can't do this. There's something I'm actually passionate about, and I wanna see it through. Now I gotta do that on the shoestring budget. Then fuck it, so be it.
Yeah, that's that sacrifice right there.
Them first 6 months, maybe even longer. Stimulus checks started to kick in.
Hey,
the stimmies honestly saved me a couple times. I ain't had no money. I was only making enough at that time to pay my rent, my phone bill, utilities, and food and dog food. That's all I could afford.
So you
I
was in the
wasn't-
house.
I was breaking. I mean, we was all in the house.
Yeah,
It was a pandemic. We
That was a
all in
perfect time to be broke.
I mean, when I left my job, I was, and the pandemic hadn't really started, but like, you know, shit was getting scary. It was
Mhm.
like all this talk, and I was like, shit, this is probably the best decision or worst decision in my life. I'm about to be out here on my ass. But I mean, it worked out. And that's what I mean by like having enough passion and trusting yourself enough to just like go for it. What was the
Mhm.
worst that could have happened? Nobody was gonna let me be homeless. So
Yeah, you had somewhere to
I
go.
ended up moving out of my townhouse and coming back home. Was that the worst that could happen? I don't know.
No,
It's happened.
you talking about because I remember you had just said like I hope people don't think I'm a like overnight success, but I really feel like I know for a couple people that I don't talk to that like every time they bring up your name, like C really doing her thing, like she really, but it's like you ain't like think about it, like you ain't never heard of no black girl owning no hair company and not a hair company where it's plant based.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's so rare.
Be rare, bitch.
But no, for real, it's just like, and you doing it, it unless you like know you don't know the ins and outs of what's going on, but it looks like you're doing it gracefully. You know, no
I do my
struggles.
best. Definitely struggles. Definitely struggles. I stay sick because I'm always moving around.
Yeah.
I ain't really got no money. You know, I could be making a whole lot more money in a traditional work environment,
Mhm.
but I'm not driven by money. I will jokingly say I'm homeless, which, you know, halfway am, halfway not. Like, I
She
don't
got
got
a
my
place
own
to
place.
stay.
I can always go back to my mama's house, but when I'm in St. Louis, I don't have an apartment. So, you know, I just wing it. Like, I stayed at a hotel this past week. I often will stay at hotels. I will sleep in my office. I will sleep at my friend's house. I'll sleep at a nigga house. You know?
I'm just going to sleep.
And I just gotta have somewhere to sleep. And you know what else? Nevis is with me in all of those locations.
And he be acting good. Yeah, he a good dog.
I'm home to him.
Wherever I'm
at,
with my
he
mama.
He good. He don't care. So, you know, as again, you have to be very real with yourself about what you're willing to sacrifice. I know the way I live is unconventional and at times uncomfortable. And sometimes I be sick of my own shit. I'm like, I need to grow up. I need to get an apartment again.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be serious, but you know, it's all for the greater good at the end of the day. So like
it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off.
I have faith.
And you ain't got no kids either, so that's
I ain't got no kids.
That's the good thing because like me can't do nothing. It's like me can't do none of that. It's like,
and that's real. Those are also some of the nuances that you have to be real with yourself about. Can I realistically afford to quit my job and commit to this risky ass business if I have responsibilities? I mean, I got my dog. That's all. That's all. I can't even equate a dog to a child. I need dog food. He needs shots every now and then and treats. That's it.
Yeah. And you had said something that was deep though. You was like, I'm not motivated by money. I feel like a lot of people are. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Right now, the podcast, I'm not making no money. It's all money in. No, ain't nothing coming back. But if I want to make some money pop this motherfucker, like, be rare, you gotta make some shape. But I feel like what makes you not motivated by money?
Well, I don't want that to be confused with like I don't have a commitment to my investors or an understanding that the business has to turn a profit at some point. But what I actually mean by that is I didn't quit my job and commit to this because I thought that I would be a millionaire in a year or shit, even in 5 years. I don't have the same ambitions as some people may have to like, you know, have nice things. I like things, but I'm not motivated in my career to pursue those things. I think it'll just be a result of me living in my truth and pursuing my passion. And like that's enough for me. But I don't need to. I don't wake up every day like, how much money do I have to make to, you know, buy a house or buy a car? Eventually those things will happen, and I know those things will happen because of the effort and the decisions that I make for the business, but I'm just not driven by a desire to like acquire wealth at this stage.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. It's like money is a factor, but it's not like That's not what I get up every day. Like
Yeah.
cause I feel like money will stress you out. I ain't gonna lie. If you going based off money, like you be like, okay, I gotta make this money. If that money don't come in, then you like, fuck.
It might distract you from your passion.
Yeah,
like you may not be able to have a healthy balance of both.
And you might just do some shit just to get some money, and it don't align with you.
Yep. Now you feeling dumb, or now you broke. Maybe you ended up going south and you fucked yourself up.
Yeah, I get it. I'm the same way. Like, Bree Rare is not motivated by money. I started this knowing I wasn't gonna start off just making money off of it, but I definitely want some money from it.
Yeah, as you should. If you treat it like a business and you operate like a business, then you got to make money at some point. But like figuring out what that is, figuring out what the business model is, rather than like immediately trying to monetize, that may work out better. In the long run.
Got to take the stairs, not the escalator or the elevator.
Gotta take the stairs.
Okay, we didn't talk a lot about business, but what you working on with you besides business?
You know, this past week, last 2 weeks have been a not necessarily difficult, but I've had to like come to some realizations about what I thought I was going to happen for me, or what I thought was next for me, that have taken a sharp detour. Like, actually, that's not the case. I have been wanting to move to New York for a year now, and have been going back and forth for a minute, going tomorrow. But my business is headquartered in St. Louis, and so I moved out of my apartment last July. I was like, I'm gonna just give it a year and see how it works if I just go back and forth. And I thought everything was cool. Thought everybody in there doing what they need to do.
Everybody
checking
all right.
in, coming in once a month for a week or so at a time. I thought shit was moving up. But a couple weeks ago, it sort of all came to a head, and shit was not as smooth as I thought. And so, in talking with my team and asking for feedback, my presence mattered a lot more than I thought. Like, I thought everybody had what they needed to show up to work every day and be successful, but I discounted how much me being there and being a part of the environment actually makes a difference. So as a result of that, I'm not going to move to New York right now. Doesn't mean that I won't go ever, but I don't think it's a good time for me to go right now. And so I was feeling really sad about that, because I just had this story in my head of what was about to happen for me next. So I had to mourn that, and now I need to figure out how I can only halfway commit to living in St. Louis for a short stint, i.e. not getting a brand new lease in an empty apartment, but something already furnished that I can go month to month on. Because it is, in the long run, it is going to be more advantageous for me to be somewhere like New York, where a lot of our investors are and a lot of relationships are. New York is a big hub for us. A lot of our customers are there. And so I need to be there, and I need to be outside of the manufacturing environment, the day-to-day operations. But it's just making sure you have the right people in place, the right structure in place, trust and communication before I can do that. And we're not quite there. I thought we were probably like 60% of the way there. We need to be about 95 before I leave.
Yeah, you're going to get there. But you had said, what did you say? You had to mourn the move. I mean, mourn, like you had this picture in your head and you had to mourn it. Like, how did you mourn it? Because you still have to be your boss and wake up every day. So, like, personally, how did you mourn it? Like, how did you really deal with it?
I think I just had to come to terms with it. This is only over the last couple of weeks, but I was sort of avoiding thinking about it and like having to make decisions about it, but just come to terms with what in my gut I knew was best, and not saying no to New York forever, just not right now, and like not being too hard on myself about it too. Like, oh, I'm never gonna leave. I'm stuck here forever. Which is, I was saying that a lot, but I'm like, get out of my self-pity. Like, it's not forever. It's just for now. Yeah. And that for now could be longer than I want, but just it is what it is. A lot of times it just is what it is. And once you state that and accept that, go on about your day.
Hello, because life definitely would be life, and it would be like, it is what the fuck.
It is what it is.
You can't even, like, I feel like mourning and sitting in it for a little bit, but after that, you got to get up and figure it out, because it's just like, change is a part of life. Like, change is hard, but it happens.
happens.
It's
What you
necessary.
gonna do about it?
When you told me something you mourned, I know that's personal, but that was personal / business.
Yeah, but like it was really important to me. Like I said, like
yeah, you've
all
been
this,
talking about New York.
all this
We was supposed to
bullshit
go
I've
to
been
New
doing.
York. We was supposed to come visit.
I know.
But it's okay. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. What they be saying is not. What they be saying is delayed,
Not denied.
not denied.
Delayed, not denied.
Delayed, not denied.
That much is true. But yeah, I would say it's related to work, but that was something that was really important to me personally. It's like I need to get my own space. I need to take my life more seriously. Not my business, like my life.
Yeah.
But you know, a couple more months of unseriousness.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna get there. We're gonna be in New York. Like I ain't never been to New York either, so
I think it's a good time.
been in New York, but not as a grown person.
It's a good time.
Not a grown person. That sound right, grown person.
You can go as a grown person.
One more thing. So as on Be Rare, we talk about like holding ourselves accountable and just looking in the mirror. Self reflection. Is there something like right now, like you like healing from, or like trying to heal? Or you like looked in the mirror? Like last week, I was talking about on the podcast. Like I realized I was a bad communicator, and I was pointing the finger at everybody else. And it was like, yeah, they're a bad communicator, but look in the mirror, you know? And I had to have that realization and I had to talk with myself.
Yeah. Yes. Something that I've learned about myself in the last couple years is my temper is a lot shorter than I thought. And then when I talk to y'all about like people that have known me for a while, apparently I haven't always been this way.
I'm like, sure, I haven't seen short temper you.
My temper is a lot shorter now.
I haven't seen
it. Doesn't take as much. It doesn't take a lot to like frustrate me and my tone to change, and I know when it's happening. And I'd be like, damn, that was kind of bitchy.
I was thinking like a bitch.
Like, damn, am I a bitch? I might be a bitch. I feel like over the last couple of years, I've recognized that in myself a little bit more. And I need to work through that in therapy, whatever it is that is driving me to like be more upset than I should be in certain situations and saying some slick shit. I got a cold piece on me.
And you probably said real professional and like
in my tone. Yeah. You know? And I don't always think about how my words like impact other people because I might feel like I'm being honest or very real in that moment.
She's a Virgo, so
she's a Virgo.
They definitely.
She is a Virgo.
Delivery be fucked up, but it ain't ever been fucked up with me. But I know the Virgo delivery be so fucked up. Be like, my mama's a Virgo too, so I be like, Mama, I really don't like the way you said it. And I'm like, well, I'm just telling you the truth. You know,
yeah, it's a combination too. It's a combination of sometimes I know my words are really biting when I'm like mad, when I'm angry, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say all that. And the other times, like I really don't think that what I'm saying could be perceived as hurtful, and then it is, and then they tell me, and I be like, oh, I'm sorry.
At least you apologize.
I do now, more than I have before. A lot of times, I would just kind of get insecure about it, like that's not what I said, or that's not how I mean. Like, why you taking it that way? But now it's more like, you know, that's not how I intended it. I apologize.
Look, you acknowledge it and you taking steps towards fixing it.
You know,
that's all that matters. I don't get it right
every time. I was going off on somebody the other day, and that person was like, "Don't say that to me again." I was like, "Okay."
At least you took it well, because I was like, "Who are you talking to?"
I was just like, "Okay, you ain't like that? Okay, I ain't gonna say it again."
I love that. I
try
love
to respect your wishes.
Yeah, I'm have to. You right. I ain't seen this short temper you so. But I feel like every time we together, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air.
I know. It's always like good times. It's always like, I come kick it. Hey, y'all, I'm at home. What we doing? We outside.
Because we just went to the movies and all type of shit. And that was fun. Outside. Like, I love our friendship. It's always me, you, and Autumn.
My dogs.
The three amigos.
From Lincoln.
Yes. Love it here. But I appreciate you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, it's fun.
And of course, before we end the podcast, you know I got to pour into you.
Pour into me. Come on. Give it to me.
I don't know you been having a fucked up ass.
Please. I'm trying to get it together.
No, I really want you to know how inspirational you are. Like ever since I've known you, even before Rebundle, when you was going to like the VA, the Venture America stuff,
America.
and you was just applying yourself, like you wouldn't let nothing stop you. Like that's always been inspirational. And like anytime I need your help or I ask you anything, you're always there. And it's like even when we don't talk for a long time and we come back, like the vibes is pure. You know, like I just feel like I don't know. I need you to know, like, if you feel like you here, you like here.
Out there.
You like there. And I need you to know, like, how dope you are. Like, ain't nobody doing what you're doing. Like, nobody. And you need to walk around this motherfucker like you know. Ain't nobody doing what you're doing. But I love you. And, you know, you my forever friend. So,
for sure.
Rocking forever. And New York is around the corner.
You know? Catch me there.
Yeah.
Later.
We're going to be in New York. I'm
going to find an apartment. They're going to approve me. They ain't approved me for the one apartment I looked at. But, you know.
That's
I'm going to get approved for the next one.
Them people was fucked up anyway. That's why they approved you.
They ain't want no real nigga in the building, obviously.
Everybody had pops and plumbing and electrical problems. You ain't even know.
No, it was real nice.
Oh, okay. Just because
it was a real nice place.
Just because it looked good, though. You know.
Surface level.
Yeah, I was trying to make a reason why. But fuck me. Nah, you gonna definitely get approved for the next one. But yeah, we're gonna be in New York. Y'all gonna see us on social media, like, yup.
Outside. We in Brooklyn with it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I appreciate you for coming, of course. Thank y'all for listening.
Wait, what? I gotta shout out my braider.
Oh yeah,
my girl Muffy Braids.
Hello, she my braider too.
She gets you right every time. You know, ask her about the Rebundle special. Get your braid better in by Muffy Braids in Kansas City.
Muffy Braids on Instagram. She actually braid my hair too.
And she braid the whole city hair. If she ain't braiding your hair, then
her hair actually is braided by Muffy, and that's Rebundle hair.
Yeah, not really a question. If my hair is braided, it's Rebundle hair.
Yeah, duh. But yeah, book Muffy.
Book Muffy.
I'll put her stuff in the comments. But yeah, y'all, I appreciate y'all for watching. I always say, leave a review in Apple, leave a review in Spotify. And I just learned this week, if you subscribe, it helps me get on the charts. So come on, we're trying to get to the charts. We're going to get to the charts.
That's our goal.
Yes, and then YouTube, subscribe, and watch the video full, because we need all them watch hours, because we're trying to get monetized. But yeah, like I always say, be rare, be you, be authentic, and I hope you have a good week. Peace.